I was 23 when my family quietly decided I was the disappointment. My brother Ethan had just finished his MBA from a decent state university. It wasn't Ivy League. It wasn't groundbreaking. But my parents celebrated it like he had just won a Nobel Prize. They threw him a graduation party that cost more than my entire year's rent. 200 guests. Catered food. A massive slideshow highlighting his achievements, carefully skipping the fact that he had changed majors 3 times and nearly failed out before switching to business. I didn't attend. That night, I was in my tiny studio apartment coding until 3 a.m., surviving on ramen and coffee, building something I believed in. The next morning, my mom called. "You couldn't even show up for your brother." I had a deadline. For what? That computer hobby. My startup. She actually laughed. "When are you going to get a real job? Ethan already has 3 offers from major companies. You're just playing business in your apartment." That was the beginning of the divide. Ethan had always been the favorite. Not because he worked harder. Not because he was kinder. But because he fit the mold. Corporate career. Big house. Respectable path. I didn't want that. After college, I took a small tech job to learn the industry. I drove a 15-year-old Toyota that rattled at red lights. I wore thrift store clothes. Every spare dollar went into savings and my side project. My parents were embarrassed by me. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" became my mother's favorite sentence. But while Ethan climbed a comfortable corporate ladder, I was quietly building something far bigger. They just didn't know it yet. 2 years later, Ethan met Madison Clark. Madison came from serious money. Her father owned multiple luxury car dealerships across 3 states. She grew up in gated communities, attended private schools, and spent summers in Europe. She carried herself with effortless confidence, the kind that comes from never worrying about bills. From the moment she met me, she decided I didn't belong. At their engagement party, she approached me with a polished smile. "So, Avi, what exactly do you do?" "I run a tech company." Her eyebrows lifted slightly. "Oh. Like IT support?" "No. Software development." "How nice," she said in the same tone people use for interns. "Ethan's in logistics strategy. Very competitive field." I excused myself. After that, family gatherings became subtle interrogations. "Still in that little studio? Still driving that old car? Oh, you built that website yourself? How creative." My parents never defended me. "Madison just wants the best for Ethan," my mother once said. "You're 30 now. Maybe it's time to think about stability." I had stability. What they didn't know was that 4 years earlier, I had identified a gap in the supply chain software market. Large corporations had expensive, bloated systems. Smaller companies had spreadsheets and outdated tools. So I built Vertex Flow Labs. It started with 1 client. Then 5. Then 50. 3 years ago, I hired my first employee. Then a team. Then a real office. Last year, we crossed 8 figures in revenue. 6 months ago, a Fortune 500 company, Titan Core Industries, approached us for acquisition talks. The deal, $160 million. After taxes and distributions, I would personally walk away with $87 million. But I told my family nothing. Why? Because I had learned something important. People who mock you during the struggle don't get to celebrate your victory. I wanted to see how they treated me when they believed I had nothing. And they showed me exactly who they were. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my phone buzzed with a message from Mom. Mom, we need to talk about Thanksgiving this year. Me, okay. A few seconds passed before the next message appeared. Mom, Madison is hosting at her parents' estate. It's going to be very formal. Important guests. Business people from her father's circle. I already knew where this was going. Me, sounds nice. There was a long pause. The typing dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, Mom, she thinks it might be better if you skip this year. I stared at my phone. Me, skip Thanksgiving. Mom, she's worked very hard on this dinner. She's invited high-profile guests. She just wants everything to be perfect. Me, and I'm not perfect. Another pause. Mom, don't twist this. She's worried you might not fit in. Ethan agrees. He doesn't want Madison stressed on their first Thanksgiving as a married couple. I read it 3 times to make sure I understood. They were uninviting me from Thanksgiving because Ethan's wife thought I looked poor. Me, I understand. Mom, thank you for being mature about it. We'll do something small at Christmas. I sat in my office, my real office, on the 23rd floor of a downtown high-rise. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the skyline. 3 floors leased under my company's name. And I laughed. They thought I still lived in a tiny studio apartment in a rough neighborhood. They thought I was barely surviving. They thought I would embarrass them. I muted the family group chat that night. But curiosity made me check it the next day. Ethan, can't wait for tomorrow. Madison's been cooking for 2 days. Mom, the table settings look like a magazine spread. Dad, this will be our best Thanksgiving ever. Then Madison posted a selfie with Ethan. Grateful for family, the ones who show up and support each other. I smiled at that. Because at 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving evening, something else was scheduled to show up. And it wasn't me. Thanksgiving evening, I spent alone. Not in the old studio apartment they thought I lived in, but in my new high-rise condo downtown. I had moved 6 months earlier and never mentioned it. As far as they knew, I was still struggling. At 6 p.m, I turned on CNN. The business anchor appeared on screen. Tonight, we are covering a major acquisition in the tech sector. A 30-year-old entrepreneur who built a supply chain optimization platform from her apartment has just sold her company for $160 million. My face filled the screen. Ava Reynolds, founder of Vertex Flow Labs, they showed clips from my interview recorded 2 weeks earlier. Professional lighting. Blazer. Confident. Composed. Reynolds built Vertex Flow Labs without venture capital, scaling through revenue growth and strategic partnerships. Titan Core Industries finalized their acquisition this month for $160 million, marking one of the largest bootstrap tech exits of the year. They cut to my recorded voice. I saw a gap in the market. Small businesses couldn't afford enterprise-level supply chain software. I wanted to give them the same tools as the big players. The segment ran for 6 minutes. They repeated the acquisition number 4 times. My phone began vibrating before it ended. The first call was from Lily Harper, my college roommate. Oh my God, Ava. I'm watching CNN. Why didn't you tell me? It wasn't finalized yet. $160 million. That's insane. Does your family know? Not yet. She started laughing. Oh my God. This is going to be unbelievable. She wasn't wrong. By 6:45 p.m., the family group chat exploded. Aunt Diane, is this real? Uncle Mark, what the hell? Cousin Brooke, she sold her company for $160 million. It's on CNN. Then, Mom, Ava. Is this true? Dad, call me immediately. Ethan, this is some kind of joke, right? 30 seconds of silence. Then Cousin Brooke wrote, didn't you guys uninvite her from Thanksgiving? The chat went completely silent. My phone rang. Mom. Declined. Ethan. Declined. Dad. Declined. For the first time in my life, I let them sit in the discomfort they had created. And I poured myself a glass of wine. The next morning, I woke up to 49 missed calls and 36 voicemails. I made coffee before listening to any of them. Mom's first voicemail came in at 6:47 p.m. Ava, we just saw you on CNN. What is going on? Everyone is calling us. This is very embarrassing. Why didn't you tell us? Embarrassing. Not, we are proud of you. Not, are you okay? Embarrassing. Ethan's voicemail was next. What the hell, Ava, $160 million. Madison is freaking out. Call me. Dad's was colder. You've made us look foolish. We had no idea what you were doing. We need to discuss this immediately. Around 9 p.m., the tone shifted. Mom again. Sweetheart, maybe there was a misunderstanding about Thanksgiving. Of course we wanted you there. Your family. Ethan texted, Madison feels terrible. She didn't mean anything by it. We should celebrate your success together. Dad emailed, we should sit down as a family and discuss your financial future. These decisions affect everyone. Affect everyone. That was interesting. Later that night, even Madison left a voicemail. Ava, I'm so impressed by what you've accomplished. I'd love to take you to lunch next week and get to know you better. 2 days ago, I wasn't good enough for her dinner table. Now I was impressive. I deleted every voicemail. Saturday morning, Mom drove to my old apartment, the studio I hadn't lived in for 6 months. She called from the parking lot. I'm outside. Let me in. I don't live there anymore. Silence. You moved. Where? Downtown. You didn't tell us. You didn't ask. Her voice sharpened. We need to talk face to face. No. Ava, I'm your mother. And when I needed one, you were busy comparing me to Ethan. She hung up. Then called 17 more times. I didn't answer. For once, I wasn't the one chasing approval. They were. Monday morning, I went to the office like nothing had happened. My team was professional, congratulatory but focused. The acquisition wasn't officially closed yet. We still had clients to serve. Around 10 a.m., my assistant knocked gently on my door. Ava, there's a man in the lobby asking for you. He says he's your brother. I leaned back in my chair. Ethan. He doesn't have an appointment, she added. Of course he didn't. I considered telling her to send him away. But curiosity won. Send him up. 5 minutes later, Ethan stepped into my office. He stopped in the doorway. My office overlooked the city skyline from the 23rd floor. Glass walls. Modern furniture. Framed awards. My Forbes 30 Under 30 feature hung behind my desk. "This is yours?" he asked quietly. "Yes." He walked in slowly, taking everything in. "We thought you were struggling." "I know." He sat down across from me, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. "Why didn't you tell us?" he asked. "You never asked." "That's not fair." "It is. You decided I was a failure because I didn't follow your path. You never once asked what I was building." He rubbed his face. "Medicine feels awful." I almost laughed. "Does she?" "She didn't mean it like that. She meant exactly what she said." "And you agreed?" He didn't argue. After a long silence, he said, "We are still family." "Are we?" He flinched. "Look, we made mistakes. But cutting us off completely? That's extreme." "I'm not cutting you off. I'm setting boundaries." He stood up. "You know people are talking, right? Mom's devastated. Dad's furious. This is humiliating." "I didn't humiliate you. You did that yourselves." He stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Then he left without another word. 2 weeks later, the acquisition officially closed. $160 million. After taxes, distributions, and bonuses to my team, I walked away with $87 million. Everyone who believed in me during the 14-hour days got rewarded. My family got nothing. Not out of spite, but because they hadn't earned it. Christmas came faster than I expected. I received an invitation to the family gathering. I declined. Instead, I rented a private ski lodge in Colorado for my team, 23 people who had worked 16-hour days beside me, who had believed in Vertex Flow Labs when it was just an idea and a laptop. On Christmas morning, my phone buzzed. "Mom, we're all here. Your spot at the table is empty. Please reconsider." I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Mom, I spent 10 years with an empty spot at your table. I was physically there, but you never saw me. You saw a failure. You only want me there now because of the money. That's not family. That's opportunism. I hope you have a nice Christmas. My table is full." I sent it and put my phone away. Outside, snow covered the mountains. Inside, my team was laughing over breakfast, arguing about who would wipe out first on the slopes. Ryan Kim, my co-founder, raised a glass that evening by the fireplace. "To Ava," he said. "For building something extraordinary. For believing in us before anyone else did." 22 glasses lifted. "To all of us," I corrected. "We had built it together." 3 months later, Ethan and Madison separated. The public embarrassment had strained everything. According to cousin Brooke, Madison had pushed hardest to exclude me, and now she looked foolish in her own social circle. Ethan reached out once more. A genuine apology this time. I appreciated it. But appreciation isn't the same as forgetting. Mom and Dad slowly stopped trying to fix things. They realized they couldn't rewrite 10 years of dismissal. We are civil now. Birthday texts. Occasional polite conversations at extended family events. But the closeness is gone. And I'm okay with that. I started a new company, smaller, focused on a different problem. This time, I'm building publicly. Transparently. Surrounded by people who see value before validation. I bought a house in the mountains. Quiet. private. Peaceful. Every morning, I wake up, look at the view, and remember something important. I didn't build this life to prove them wrong. I built it to prove myself right. The money didn't change who I was. It revealed who they were. They got the Thanksgiving they wanted. I got the life I built. And if I had to choose again, I'd choose this life. Every single time.